Good morning, everybody, wherever you are in the world this morning for me. My name is Matthew Armstrong, and this is day 24 of our 90-day transformation program from mediocrity to mastery. It's my pleasure to be able to serve you again today. If this is the first live training you're watching, then we're following the work of Dr. John Demartini in this process from the values factor. So I am reading directly from the book. You will need your own book to do the exercises in, etc. So you can get your book from drdemartini.com or from Amazon, and you can find out more about Dr. Demartini and his work from his website, drdemartini.com. And if this is your first one you're watching, then you need to watch them all sequentially. So after you complete watching this one, go back and to the YouTube channel Be Your Potential and watch every single one of these in order. All right. So just to let you know, you know that this talk about waking up with the wrong side of bed. Well, that's how I felt that I woke up this morning. I had a couple of bad dreams. And I woke up just feeling a little bit out of sorts, right? Something amazing that I read in one of Dr. Demartini's books is before he gets out of bed every morning, he goes through a process until he has a tear of appreciation. So the actual tear comes down his face of appreciation before he gets out of bed in the morning. I've never heard anyone else say that before. Have such, I don't know, such high standards for themselves that they will do that every morning before they go to bed. I don't know if he does it every morning now or what, but that's what he said in his book anyway. And that's a high level of mastery of yourself, right? To be able to get to that stage. I wasn't quite there this morning. I woke up a little bit late and didn't wait to have a tear of appreciation. I got up and still felt out of sorts, and sat down here now and still felt out of sorts, and not feeling resistance to doing this training. But I guess that's part of the process, right? You know, we're in process, and I don't know. I went through my own little ritual before I started this drive training, which definitely helped. But I had some very weird dreams that again made me feel a bit strange. So I'm going to start with the reading. And then see what inspiration comes after that, right? It's good to be able to make yourself do things when you don't feel like doing things. You know, that's part of success in life. We don't always feel like doing things, but once we've done them, we feel better, right? And if we can push ourselves to do things even when we don't feel like doing them, then that's also a level of mastery we're attaining over ourselves as well. So we're on page 151, infatuation or growth, on our relationship section that we're going through all week and into this new week as well. So let's go back to the reason. We're all looking for fulfilling relationships, whether with a life partner, friend, family member, or workmate. Initially, we might seek relationships with others because we believe that they will support our highest values. Our fantasy is that they will offer us only support and no challenges. When we believe that this fantasy might be coming true, we become infatuated. However, this fantasy is unobtainable. No human being on earth can offer another person perpetual support without challenges. It just can't be done. That would be like attempting to find a one-sided magnet, and receiving both support and challenge together is a wiser outcome anyway. If we only ever receive support, we'd become juvenilely dependent on the person giving it to us. So our innermost being, in its wisdom, helps us attract somebody into our lives to challenge our highest values, so we can be set free from juvenile dependency. As we saw in the previous chapter, optimal human growth and development occurs at the border of support and challenge. This has been biologically demonstrated in almost every species. Just as the food chain needs both predator and prey, we need support, which is like food. We also need challenges, which are like predators, who keeps us on our toes. In order to continue to grow and evolve as a species, we must have both. So even while we search for people who support our highest values, we attract people who challenge our highest values. Thus, the purpose of any relationship, including a marriage, is to make sure we get both support and challenge. Our need for both support and challenge, ease and difficulty, and ultimately growth is so strong that we will inevitably get both. One way or another, if on some level you feel that your relationship is providing you too much support, you will include other people in the relationship dynamic to make sure you get enough challenges. In a relationship you perceive to be too supportive, you may become bored and seek stimulation outside the relationship in the form of an affair. Or perhaps your marriage will be challenged by a disapproving in-law, a needy friend, or an overly demanding boss. Likewise, in a too challenging marriage, you might seek support from an illicit romantic partner, a soothing parent or sibling, a loving friend, a therapist, or a nurturing work situation. You will insist on receiving the balancing support from somewhere. And if you don't seem to receive it in the marriage, you will find it somewhere else. One way or another, if your support challenge quotient is seemingly unbalanced, somebody is already in your life to make sure that you get both sides and to break you free from your addiction to one-sidedness. This addiction can be very powerful. Many of us fantasize that our perfect relationship will always support us and never challenge us. Will always be nice and never mean. Will always give and never take. Will always be kind and never cruel. Will always be peaceful and never warlike. Will always be positive and never negative. But this is delusional, and eventually your infatuation will cause you to sacrifice yourself and your own highest values, which will ultimately make you resentful, which in turn will cause you to do whatever you need to get your partner to challenge you. So our innermost wisdom is readily at hand to make sure that we all grow. That is the wonderful thing about marriage or any other important relationship. It enables us to grow, and perhaps it even forces us to do so. We are required to gain some perspective on our own highest values, realizing that they're not the only values in the world and that other people have different higher values. We also are destined to discover qualities in ourselves that we didn't know we had, both seemingly positive and seemingly negative. And all the while, our inner wisdom is requiring us to live at the border between challenge and support, where maximum growth is not only possible, but necessary. Learning the art of communication. Whenever two people are in a relationship, you're going to have two different value systems. As a result, there will always be a time when the two people please each other and times when they displease each other. How can two different people create a fulfilling relationship? One way is to master the art of communication, learning how to communicate what you value most in terms of the other person's highest values. This was a process that I underwent with my late wife. She used to want to dine at fine restaurants such as New York City's Les Sur, where meals are pricey, to say the least. To add to the expense, she generally wanted to invite other people to join us as our guests. There I'd be eating pricey gourmet food that was often a bit too rich for my taste, having conversations that I sometimes didn't find all that inspiring, watching everyone else drinking too much and getting loud and sometimes a bit obnoxious while I didn't drink at all. Finally, I spoke up and shared my partly repressed feelings. Honey, Eating and drinking rich and pricey meals each night just doesn't fulfill my values. I told my wife. I don't live to eat, I eat to live. I like to eat moderately and generally a bit more quickly. And I work hard for my money and prefer to spend on more meaningful and lasting activities or experiences. I don't enjoy spending $1,000 a night just on food and wine. That lifestyle doesn't exactly match what is most important to me. My wife nodded, just listening. I appreciated the deep, focused attention that she was giving me. And I appreciated it even more, her commitment to understand my highest values. But I continued. If I could have some additional reasons to justify going out to dinner, then maybe it would be a fine on occasion. So if you want me to go out to fancy dinners with your friends, then let's figure out how to make it worth both our whiles. My wife smiled. She understood perfectly that I was inviting her to find a way that we could both fulfill our values. And typically she was up to the challenge. Honey, she told me a few nights later, I've contacted my girlfriend whose husband is the head of this large corporation, and I'm almost certain that if he got to know you, he'd want to speak to his management team and maybe even bring you in as a consultant. What do you think about us taking him out to dinner along with his wife? I really like her, so she and I could talk about personal things while you pursued a potential business opportunity. That way, our restaurant tab isn't just frivolous spending. It is a potential investment. Now you're talking. Thank you, I replied. If this is what those fancy dinners are going to be like, I don't mind going out in this fashion more frequently. The rest of you can order gourmet food, wine, while I simply eat some fish and a light salad. She was smiling, and so was I. Instead of her giving up something she truly loved, and instead of me having to be a bit frustrated through a boring, expensive evening, my resourceful wife had found a win-win, expressing our highest values in terms of my highest values, allowing us both to feel inspired and fulfilled. I had my own version of creating a win-win. At first, when I used to travel on business, my wife would sometimes feel lonely and frustrated that I was gone. She understood that my work was important, but she sometimes felt disheartened to see me go. And I preferably not to see her unfulfilled. Soon I figured out how to associate my absences with something she valued. Honey, I'd say, I'm off on a trip to Africa and Australia, and I'll be gone about 10 days. I'll be earning quite a bit of money, so why don't I meet you in Venice when my seminars are over? You organize a trip, and I'll meet you there. Now my wife was able to appreciate my absences because she associated them with our special rendezvous. Basically, each of us could do whatever we wanted as long as we communicated it to the other person in such a way that both of us felt more fulfilled. After a while, we became pretty proficient and smooth at it. And if you master the art of communication in terms of the values factor, you can reap the same rewards. Just remember to communicate your own highest values in terms of the other person's highest values. That way, you both become more fulfilled. You can explore this idea further in the following exercise. Okay, that will do our reading for today, and we'll talk about the exercise tomorrow. And so, yeah, that brings up some interesting points there. You know, being able to create the win-win. You know, this is a higher level of relationship than the compromise that we hear so much about. You know, we hear that, you know, the way to have a successful relationship is to compromise. But, you know, the word compromise, it's not a great word, right? When I was in the Royal Marines, to be compromised was not a good thing. It usually meant that you died, or you had to run, or you got into a firefight or something. If your position was compromised, you know, if the enemy compromised you, you know, that was not a good word for it to happen to you. So the word compromise is, you know, do we want to have to go into relationships to compromise? Do we want to compromise on our highest values? Do we want to compromise on life dreams. It doesn't make much sense to me. You know, never did. Never did. And so this is a much higher level of being, to be able to have win-wins, not compromise, but to win-win. You know, as Charlie Sheen would say, you can buy winning, right? When he was asked, is he bipolar, he very cleverly said, no, I'm by winning. What a psychology, huh? Brilliant. So, you know, let's be by winning in life. You know, let's get win-win, not compromises. You know, what a different way of thinking. In all of our doings, in all of our relationships, if we keep in mind we're looking for a win-win. In all our business dealings, we're looking for a win-win. We're not trying to take from someone. We're not trying to scam someone. We're looking for a win-win, right? I'm looking to help you. I'm looking to assist you. I'm looking to service you in some way. And in return, I get something back as well, right? So by learning to communicate to each other in each other's highest values, well, first of all, I have to know what your highest values are. So in an intimate relationship, it's important to know what your partner's highest values are, so you can communicate in those values with what you want to do. And then when they're communicating to you, that they're able to communicate in your highest values with what they want to do. So you get win-wins, right? So this can spill out to all relationships, to business relationships. Doing a business deal, you're looking for a win-win, right? So keep that in the forefront of your mind and find out what people's highest values are. You know, it's a good exercise to do. It's just to look at people. You know, think what their highest values are. We did it in exercise earlier in the book as well. To write down the highest values of a colleague, of a friend, and things like that. So to be able to work out what someone's highest values are, generally by what they're portraying in their life, right? How they're living their life. You can see what's important to them. Yeah. And remembering that relationships are there to bring us a balance of support and challenge. So when someone is challenging us, and maybe they've only supported us before, in the long run they'll start challenging us, right? When they start challenging us, it's not to say, well, you've changed, you know, you used to be really supportive, now you're challenging me. Challenge is part of it, right? Challenge is part of it. Sometimes people don't realize that, and then they feel betrayed, or the person's changed, or whatever, or they've changed the rules of the game in the relationship. We're all just following our highest values, right? We're all just living by our highest values, or what's been projected onto us, the idealisms of others. If we haven't quite found our true self. So we're going to leave that there today. That's enough, right? That's enough for today. That's a powerful, profound teaching. And I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Same time, same place, online, virtually, worldwide. We broadcast live every day. Apart from Sundays now. We did 21 days straight. Well, we did 23 days straight, actually. And now we're going to be taking off. I think each Sunday we'll take off. Yeah. For some people, it will still be Saturday night. Those in the west of the US, it will still be a Saturday night. But that's Sunday mornings. That's what I'm taking off now. Sunday morning. Just have that one day off a week. Hopefully that will. Well, I guess it helps, right? Okay, thanks for watching, and if you haven't joined our team yet, you want to receive regular updates, click on the link below, or if you want to have a vehicle to reach financial freedom online, click on the link below, and you can join my team. And I'm going on to a team training now. If you want to be on my team mastermind trainings, then you have to be on my team, because I send out an email every day about that. So if you're not receiving an email, let me know, because I'm sending an email to my team every single day with the link to the team trainings. drop me a message in our Facebook group or whatever. I also put the link in there as well. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I shall see you again tomorrow. And put this stuff into practice. Don't just watch this passively and go, "That's very nice." Go out today and go, "Okay, let's look for win-wins. Let's look how I can not compromise, but how we can all win together." Yeah. What a great way to be. We can all win together, right? It doesn't have to be winners and losers. We can all win. Yeah. There's a few places in the world right now where it's just going to be a win-lose unless we start thinking differently. Yeah. So unless we start raising our consciousness to a higher level. Yeah. Because no problem can be solved at the level that creates it. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow.